Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Comic Book Users and Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of the show where this is going to be a special one. We're going to be running on both channels this week for all of you to see. And in the co-captain's chairs tonight, we've got Mr. Craig Kaminski and Mr. Rich Catino. What's happening, gentlemen?
Hello again, guys.
Ready to talk some Doctor Strange and the Multitude of Madness?
Yeah.
Or no, not multitude, multiverse. Multiverse. I can't know what a multitude. It's kind of like the film kind of seemed like a multitude of things, but yeah, multiverse.
But it is a multitude of things they throw at you, definitely.
No, right? Yeah, it's crazy. So we've all three of us have finally seen it. Rich, and we apologize. Chris Allo is under the weather and unable to join us tonight. We were going to do a foursome on this particular episode, but we're going to soldier on, the three of us. And Craig and I finally saw it this past weekend, and Rich saw it the previous weekend. So this, of course, is the second film in the Doctor Strange series. And I guess you could kind of say a continuation of things that happened in the recent Spider-Man No Way Home film. And diving headfirst into this whole multiverse thing, which it seems like that's where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going now, right? So,
yeah.
So Rich, as the guy who saw this first, what was your impression of this Sam Raimi directed film starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Elizabeth Olsen and, you know, the normal cast of characters that we've seen in some of these Doctor Strange films and Rachel McAdams and whatnot?
And we got an appearance by Bruce Campbell from
the
Evil Dead movies.
Yep.
Which Sam Raimi directed. Everybody knows that.
Right? Yeah. His stamp was all over this film. I mean, you could tell it was a Sam Raimi film.
Yeah. It's not always so obvious in the shots, but when the shots are the shots that are Sam Raimi shots, you can tell it's Sam Raimi. You know, it's they got that Evil Dead camera goes in and out thing.
And the way it follows you down corridors and streets and things like that. Of course, the part at the very end of the movie where Doctor Strange is walking along the street and all of a sudden he gets the eye. The eye of Agamotto pops up on his head. That's like a Sam Raimi thing where everything seems normal at the end, but then get you, you know, with something.
Yeah, he's
when Bruce Campbell gets the what's that?
Yeah, good.
And when Bruce Campbell gets this, they put the spell on him. He's punched himself in the face right out of Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, Sam was always really good with interjecting humor in some of the like more horrific elements, and this film, good chunk of this film is kind of a horror film for the most part.
It is
your typical superhero film, and I think he used a lot of techniques in this film that also reminded me of the two Spider-Man films he worked on, which was now quite a while ago, back when all this kind of stuff started. These superhero films started, the Spider-Man 1 and 2. I think a good film that kind of continued where we're going in this universe. But I would think for some viewers, some of this might be a little confusing, right? With all these different...
Well, that's what I was going to say about it. It's confusing because it shows you, it gives you a little bit of what happened with the Spider-Man movie. But then when it gets into Wanda, that's good because they show you clips from the TV show,
right?
And how she has the two kids and what she wanted to have for her life, and that's why she did what she did in the TV show.
Yeah.
But aside from that, if you don't know the TV show, which was good to get those kind of clips, if you don't know the TV show, then you're lost.
Well, it's besides WandaVision, if you don't know that, or some of the happenings from Loki, or some of the happenings from the What If cartoon.
Correct, and that's why I was a little.
There's a lot of things
we didn't get any of that in there. You know, there wasn't any. They didn't mention anything about that or show anything about those shows, and that's all part of this multiverse, and it's part of the story going forward. So you got it for Wanda because I know she was the main villain anyway. She was the protagonist with going against Doctor Strange, but
they did it with the Loki show because of the introduction of the concept of the multiverse. And for those who haven't seen it, the Loki show actually, there's in one of the earliest episodes of it, there's a little cartoon character, Miss Minutes, the clock, which gives a really nice explanation of the multiverse, where it has everything is on a nice line, and then things can diverge, or what they're referring to it now in Doctor Strange as an incursion. That was the word that they were using, that they used with this, where something is fracturing off of its intended timeline.
And they said that at the end too. What was her name? Charlize Theron's character. She says that word too, right?
Clea. Yeah.
Clea, when she makes the cut and for the incursion. But if it's an incursion, then why is it explained as a multiverse? And then Kang has his own explanation, because he changes. What was his purpose when Kang shows up in Loki? He's the time. He's like the I forget what it's called. He who remains. He who remains. Yeah, and but he has something. If there's the clock and there's the clock with the hands moving, he has something to do with the timeline of things, right?
Yeah, he was supposed to maintain the status quo.
The main timeline where things splinter off from the timeline.
Yeah, and he was supposed to kind of maintain that, but then in the Loki show, he explains that he met other versions of himself from alternate.
Like there's other versions of Loki.
Of Kang that would show him how to jump between, and he explained it that some versions of himself were scientific and beneficial, but then other versions of himself were evil and wanted to conquer the other realms. I mean, he didn't come out and say, "I am Kang the Conqueror," but people in the know of the comics, people certainly like Pete, that's that guy. Yeah, the Doctor Strange movie, at least, some of the things that I enjoyed it, but how it's different from some of the other Marvel movies is that I think this is dealing more with some current happenings in the comics, whereas some of the, like the Infinity War, that's things in the comics, that's 30 years ago, and it's been in the consciousness of readers and such for many years. But some of these characters, like the America Valdez character, is quite new, to my understanding, in the comics.
I had no idea who America Chavez was. I mean,
Chavez. Yeah, but
they're doing that quite a bit now, because I think that they don't want to, for, like, say someone like me, right, who was reading comics back in the early mid 70s and all throughout the 70s up to very early 80s. You had all these really popular storyline arcs that are going back 40, 50 years plus. And they're trying to mix it up so that they also can grab the attention of those who've been following the storylines from the last, like Craig said, the last 10, 20, 30 years. So there's this weird mix of the old stuff and the new stuff, old characters, classic characters with newer ones, old storylines kind of colliding with new storylines, so they can do things a little bit different, so that the source material that they're using is not all exact verbatim as it happened back in 1968 or 75, because then it becomes kind of predictable, right?
Right.
So they're trying to keep us guessing what they're going to do. They're going to throw you enough things that but it's not all going to be exactly as it happened in the comics, because then why go see the film? We know exactly what's going to happen, right? So I think that's kind of where they're going here. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this. I think because it was different. Sometimes I like all these films, but sometimes they can be a little samey from film to film. And here, you had Wanda, who, interestingly enough, let me know if you guys agree with this. When I got done seeing this film, and they kind of built this up too in WandaVision, it's almost as if the way we saw Wanda in this movie, who is obviously, she's under this impression that she's trying to save her kids, wants to be reunited with her kids, that we all know aren't real, that she created. right? She created them. But in her mind, because she's being taken over by the Darkhold, she seems to think they are, right? But you notice how powerful she has become and how the power is overtaking her, turning her to the dark side. It's almost like she's like, in a weird way, the current version of Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, or I guess it's supposed to be the one of the other multiverse versions of herself has taken over. They're doing the numbering system now too, where our MCU is the 616, and the other where they went to where Doctor Strange met the Illuminati, that's the 838. So you're I guess it would be the 838 version of Wanda went to the 616 version and took her over, because that's where Charles Xavier finds her, like locked up, like in her mind, like he's trying to free the current version. So I guess in other multiverses, she did have children, but then you notice when she did find her children in there, there's no mention of Vision. So
yeah, we don't see him at all or talk about him at all.
Right. I kind of thought the White Vision at least would show up in this movie, since we saw him in the end of WandaVision. I thought he would pop up somewhere in here, but the cameos that happened with the Illuminati, I thought was really cool. And my personal favorite part is when Wanda, or Scarlet Witch, just, I mean, from whatever when I saw Scarlet Witch in the comics, like when I was a kid, she was always seemed kind of weak, and she was just that
was my point about Phoenix before. She was never this powerful.
And in this movie, Scarlet Witch is just a total badass. I mean, she goes Thanos basically all over the Illuminati.
Very dark to that dark side. In the show, she did that too.
Yep.
Yeah, but in this one, it was really, I mean, the best line I can remember from the movie, she says to Reed Richards, do you have a family? And he says, yeah, I have a wife and 2 kids. And she says, good, because you'll have somebody to take care of your kids. And then she just like tears him apart, after she like mangles Black Bolt, and
the way she got rid of Black Bolt was incredible, right? He's getting ready to scream. He's got
mouth. Yeah, what mouth? Yeah, that was, and then she turns Mr. Fantastic into like spaghetti, and and has the fight with Captain Carter, who looked smoking hot. Which she had she had that hair down and everything. Between her and Wanda, I was like, "Ooh, this is a nice fight here." But and then the alternate version of Captain Marvel being Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
So which is in the comics, right, Pete? They've done that in the comics with her, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess you're just supposed to assume that in that multiverse, she was the one that found the injured Kree guy and got the power cosmic or whatever she has instead of Carol Danvers. But yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, in comparison with the first one, which actually I went to see the new movie as a matinee, and before I left, I was actually watching the first movie on Disney Plus to refresh my memory. And so it was as fresh as it was going to be when I went to see the new one. And I think they were kind of equal. I mean, there were confusing parts about the first one too, since I'm not as versed with Doctor Strange as some of the other characters like Spider-Man or the Hulk. But this one had some good fighting scenes in it, and a lot of little things, the cameos, and the whole part where Doctor Strange and America are being thrown through all the different multiverses and all the little spots that they make. And I didn't see this, but if you guys did, it's more power to you. But I had to watch one of these recap episode things on YouTube, and they said in one of them they passed right by the Living Tribunal. So
going so fast I couldn't notice that.
Right, I know.
I thought I saw Kang in there though. I thought I saw a statue. Or am I seeing things? Was I seeing things? I thought I saw him.
The one that I watched didn't mention that, but it actually had a still picture, and it was like they had the three faces of the living tribunal. It was like as they were going through that. I didn't see it either. but
I was hoping when they did that though, you would have seen like there was talk about Ghost Rider showing up. We should have seen somebody like him, you know, in there, or another cameo. We only got the Illuminati as those cameos. They talked about all these cameos, and you didn't get a bunch of them. You got a handful, small handful, you know? So I was disappointed by that.
But at least they've introduced now that these characters will now they're dead in the 838 multiverse.
But they're in the universe, though.
They're gonna have to grab them from. They're gonna have to grab Reed Richards from somewhere else. But you know that you have Reed Richards and the concept of all the X-Men. You know,
I think it makes it easy because now you don't have to explain them. We know they're out there. They're in the comic books. We know we know they're Marvel characters. So this is the easy way to say, okay, we know they're here. They've always been. This is just another version of them on another Earth. Yeah, you know, which was
you in one fell swoop. You know, you've introduced Fantastic Four, Inhumans, and the X-Men by saying they all exist.
Right.
And the last Spider-Man movie introduced the concept that the other versions of Spider-Man are real. So you've got all those villains and other Spider-Men that have already been introduced. So they've got a lot of
explains
a lot of pies spinning around in the air. And from what I read, it's leading to, besides the multiverse war thing with Kang, they're doing the Secret Wars, and it's not the 80s version of the Secret Wars like that.
Second one.
It's the more recent one, where to my understanding, I didn't read it, but it's like Dr. Doom takes over like everything, and
yes.
So I think they're leading up to that.
So it depends on how soon they want to introduce that, because you can't do that unless everybody knows who Dr. Doom is, right? So it's almost weird, because I heard that they're going to do that sooner rather than later, but the Fantastic Four film is not supposed to hit till 2024, I think, right?
That sounds right.
So it's like, yeah, because I read both Secret Wars, and in the second one, you're absolutely right. Dr. Doom is the big, strong baddie, and he even freaking kills Thanos in 2 seconds in that one, in the comic. Yeah, so it's like, I'm not sure where they're going to go with that, so we'll have to see. But one thing I did find, I was just thinking about yesterday, it's like, so, you know, you got Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic here, and he does talk about how he's got a wife and 2 kids. Mm-hmm. So if you remember in the WandaVision show, you had Agatha Harkness, right, as the other witch, who in the comic is much older, right, and all this kind of stuff. Now she's getting her own series on Disney Plus. Well, in the comic, she is introduced into Marvel lore as the old lady who turns out to be a witch, who is the nanny of Franklin Richards, who is the son of Sue and Reed.
Okay.
So you have to wonder somewhere down. I mean, I don't know when the Agatha Harkness show is coming out. I really don't know why we're getting an Agatha Harkness show, but you have to wonder if that storyline might somehow be part of it. Because what else would they give her to do?
Well,
nothing else to do in the comic.
How do you go from there with the Multiverse of Madness and how they ended that? And then we have the Loki show with Kang, and then you have also Ant-Man, another Ant-Man with the quantum realm.
Yeah,
Kang's
right. It's getting a little
Ant-Man movie.
It's not even a little confusing. It's very confusing because they don't give us enough information in the multiverse. It's like, I think we talked about this on another tape, and Pete. It's almost like a play setter for where we're maybe going, but we don't know where we're going, because you got to follow the shows, you got to follow the rest of the movies that are coming out. But you only know what happens between Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, but everything else is happening in the universe, but nothing was pulled into this, right?
They've established that they screwed it, that things are screwed up, that Doctor Strange screwed things up with the spell that he did in Spider-Man. Right. Loki and Sylvie screwed things up in Loki by bumping off the Kang and their who was like a gatekeeper. So things are already, and now at the very end of Doctor Strange, Clea shows up and says to Doctor Strange, there's an incursion, so now we're going to go to the dark dimension and fix it. So
does that have anything to do with
that could be Doctor Strange 3? I mean,
but you also have Moon Knight. How does that fit into it? And why didn't we see Ghost Rider or something like that? Where's the connection to the darker characters if the Multiverse of Madness was supposed to be focused on more of the darker stuff, right? More horror.
I don't know if they're introducing that. To my understanding, around Halloween time, I mean, you guys probably heard this, they're having a Werewolf by Night one-off or something, which will have Moon Knight in it. And then who knows if they'll try to throw the Black Knight into that, because it kind of
that's the other Eternals. I forgot about that with the Eternals. The Eternals and Blade doing the voiceover, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think you're right. You got all these things that like are not matching together, and you know there is something behind everything. You know that they've got this all planned out, and we're all probably sitting here like, what the fuck is going on? None of this shit seems interconnected, and then all of a sudden, boom! It's all going to make sense, and everything is going to come together perfectly.
That's why I was hoping, and I enjoyed Doctor Strange, but I was hoping we were getting a little more hinting towards that, but we didn't. You know, and I like the Moon Knight show too, so I was hoping some connection to that, or how it connects to the Eternals and Blade and a couple things like that, but we didn't get any of that.
Did you guys see the photograph yesterday? They released the trailer for the new Thor film, right? And then they had a photograph of both Valkyrie and Jane Foster in the Thor garb sitting next to each other on these two thrones. And next to Jane Foster's throne was the statue of like the Jaguar god, which was also in Moon Knight. So
really, I did not see that.
Yeah, you got to go look it up. It's all it's all over the internet. I saw it yesterday, and so now I'm thinking, all right, no. So now are they going to try and I don't know, right? But it's just I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you're calling it the Multiverse of Madness, there should have been more
multiverse.
We got a lot of multiverses when they were jumping through the different universes. But we didn't see anybody else to connect to anything else in the universe, aside from the Illuminati giving us those characters that we know are now introduced.
Well, and they got rid of the Darkhold is gone, they said, from all realities.
Right.
And the what's that book called? Vishanti, something. They didn't destroy that, but they said in the Doctor Strange movie that the 838 world used the Book of Vishanti to get rid of their Thanos in their world, but then Doctor Strange had gotten corrupted in their world. They had to kill him. So they think that the 616 Doctor Strange is going to eventually do something like that too. So I guess that's why they're not very trusting of him, and that maybe that's what we'll see in the third Doctor Strange movie, whenever that pops out. But
yeah, that might not
be. It's got to be something that connects the timeline, whether it's the Ant-Man, the quantum realm, or Loki and Kang and what he does, or Doctor Strange and a spell or something, because everything is too fractioned off now, and it's hard to follow how everybody's. Are we in the same universe now? Are we on the same Earth? I don't know. They didn't say that. Are things restored back to that one Earth that now the X-Men can be on the same Earth with Doctor Strange and also too, what about Spider-Man? Where is he in this now? How does he fit? If nobody knows who Spider-Man is, if he's Peter Parker, nobody's supposed to know that, right?
No, not now. Yeah.
Right? How does that work into it? And does Doctor Strange still know that he's Peter Parker?
No.
You know that or not?
No, even he didn't know, because
he doesn't know either.
He knows of Spider-Man, but he doesn't know.
But he doesn't know who Peter Parker is.
But he's in this reality, and I would assume Moon Knight is, right? Because it seems like all these things are happening in the present; they're not in the past, right?
Yeah.
Well, it seems like maybe when they do the proper Fantastic Four, that they can explain some things with the super smart people like Reed Richards and Dr. Doom will be enlisted to fix the problem.
Right now, the timeline.
Yeah, because
what universe we're in and what Earth we're on.
Because I think I had read something that it said, well, that's how Kang is able to travel time because he multi-purposed something that Reed Richards created in another reality or something like that. So
You think Scarlet Witch is actually dead?
no,
No.
they showed that there was like a little red when that castle Wundagore was crumbled, that there was like a little bit of red like on the bottom or something. So maybe she put a shield, who knows, put a shield or something. Yeah, I hope not. I mean, I think she's been a really good character, and
She has, but you have to wonder
up.
now that she went to the dark side and all this kind of stuff, if maybe they're
Yeah.
just, all right, we defeated her, that's done. Because I don't see Vision coming back either. Or maybe White Vision will, I don't know. But yeah, it's really interesting because I the more I think about it, you know, in years past, we had everything leading up to the whole Infinity War saga with Thanos, right?
It was right. It was easy to follow.
That was easier to understand.
All the shows led to that.
And, you know,
all the movies led to that. I have to wonder if that they're not going to do that same approach going forward, that they're going to take all these films and all these shows and they're going to go off in a couple different directions now, because now you've got all the cosmic stuff that's set to happen. So you got the business with Thor and the Guardians and the Eternals. They've already introduced Eros and Pip the Troll at the end of Eternals, right? So you figure Adam Warlock is around the corner and whoever else. So that's out in space. You've got to deal with the Kang thing and the multiverse and quantum and all that, which is
he's supposed to show up in the quantum realm, right?
That's what I've heard. Yeah. You've got that. I've heard that Spider-Man is going to be more grounded in stuff that's happening here on Earth.
Hold that thought. So that means maybe since Daredevil was introduced into the new Spider-Man movie and he's getting his own show, does that mean that Spider-Man is now he could be in his show?
Could be
because that's a more grounded character, and Daredevil could bring in the other Defenders or maybe a Moon Knight, right? Yeah. So if this is the present timeline, then Spider-Man can be in his show and vice versa. Daredevil can show up in his movie.
Yeah.
I think doesn't the new Guardians movie next year also, that has High Evolutionary, right?
Yeah.
So what's that? I don't even wait. There's another thing.
Yeah, I think it's another like cosmic being, like
really
like the Celestials,
like Galactus and stuff.
Yeah. Like
so, does that connect to Secret Wars or something then?
Probably not. I don't know. It's his own thing. That's what I'm saying. I think they're instead of having one central storyline where this is all leading to, there might be 2 or 3 happening. That's because, you know, where's the Captain Marvel stuff? Where's that going to go? Because you still got the whole Skrull thing. There's the
that too. Yeah, with
Fury stuff and
yes, Nick Fury, right?
Secret Invasion. They're calling. Yeah.
So there's a lot going on. So I don't think that they're having everything lead to one place. I think there's going to be like 3, maybe 4 main things going on, and you're going to have various heroes and things involved in some stuff. And so instead of everything revolving around Thanos and all the movies and all the characters revolving around that, there's going to be different things going on. They're going to separate them all. I have this feeling we won't see an Avengers film for a long, long time.
Yeah, or maybe by doing that young Avengers or that young Avengers to use Scarlet Witch's kids and the new Ms. Marvel
show, right?
Yeah,
that looks awful, by the way.
I didn't see a clip of that yet.
The Thor trailer looked too corny. I thought myself. I wasn't too interested in that either. And She-Hulk, I saw that trailer that just came out. That's another character to add. So I don't know how that's going to be. That looks a little too silly too, I think.
I thought that looked pretty good from what I saw from She-Hulk. I mean, I like the actress that's playing She-Hulk, Tatiana Maslany, but from Orphan Black. But and then in that you have Abomination is coming back.
And Daredevil's supposed to be in there too because he's a lawyer. He's supposed to show up.
Yeah, so that I think looks pretty good. I mean, I don't think they're going to go too deep into alternate realms and such with She-Hulk, but I think it'll be a fun show. No,
they got to try and connect them between these shows on some kind of consistent timeline in the present, and then you can have maybe a couple other things that are happening, someplace else, depending on who it is. But especially with the Daredevil show maybe coming next, and then you got Moon Knight, which had a season. You got Werewolf by Night coming in October, Everybody's got to start connecting the dots.
But I think Pete's right though. There's so many different things going. I can't logically see everything coming together into one movie, because that movie would be like 4 hours long, or more, and with way too many characters and things going on. I think it's kind of just like in the comic world. You have some limited series over here and limited series there. Maybe the characters will cross, but they're two separate stories.
Look what happened with Infinity War and Endgame, though. You had everybody there. They just pulled everybody in. So you could technically get all these heroes and villains together in another movie. If they're in the multiverse, right?
They're leading up to
introducing the multiverse, right?
They're leading up to Secret Wars, but then it's not necessarily the Battle World Secret Wars like from the 80s. I think it's a little different. I mean, right, Pete? It's not the same one where it's just.
Yeah, the one from the 80s was like about a dozen heroes and a dozen villains, and
let's just put them together and fight, But the newer one, I think, was a little bit more intricate.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. And then we have Wakanda Forever coming up in a couple months. So from what I've that's going to introduce Atlantis and Namor the Submariner.
Right.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I just hope going forward, if you got the multiverse and it was a darker movie, keep that going for Moon Knight and then Werewolf by Night and maybe even Daredevil. Keep some of the tone. Yeah. Keep the same tone a little bit darker for these characters because they're darker characters. Don't back off on the humor a little bit because they do that a little too much. Especially that last scene in Doctor Strange, the credit scene.
Well, that's because Bruce Campbell and
I know and it's Sam Raimi, but I was like, come on, really? We need to have that again? Come on, we saw that in the movie already. That was just useless. They could have gave us a worthwhile cameo, I thought, instead of that silliness.
He's been in all the Sam Raimi movies, so you got to throw him in there.
True, but he had his part though. I was looking for something. I was looking for something more. Give us another cameo to lead to the future, to the next show or something else. So
what would have been nice is a little teaser for the upcoming Wakanda film, which would have been
something like that. Let's lead into something else, not more comic relief. I was disappointed by that.
I don't even know what they're doing with that. Since the actor had died. I mean, I don't know what
they're keeping it really tight-lipped. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh well. So I think end result is, personally, I enjoyed Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness. I did feel the first maybe 40 or 45 minutes, everything was feeling a little rushed, but I really liked the end of it. I thought the second half was really, really strong, but I enjoyed it. Comparing it to the first movie, they're two really different films. Yeah. I like them both. I don't, but I enjoyed this. I thought it was good, and we'll see where all this goes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah. Cool. And confusing, even more confusing.
Yes.
Yeah. If I wouldn't watch I really do pay attention, but I have to watch those recap shows after I get done watching each episode, of Moon Knight or Loki or whatever, because they really break down the minutia, and it's like, where it's like, I didn't see that, I didn't know that, or it's.
That's what I mean. I think they got to get a little more focused and start connecting some of these dots now. It's all over the place.
And was it me, or when they were in the second half of the movie, when they were up on that mountain thing where they had the Scarlet Witch's throne, those three giant creatures were there?
They were awesome looking, by the way.
They were really cool looking, but they almost looked like, for a minute there, I was like, are those man thing creatures? Because they had the kind of things hanging there, but then they had the mouths. So man thing with a mouth. So I was like, all right, that's not
the thing that I saw, and again, not familiar with the comics, but it said Catone. Is that CHTTON? That's what they were supposed to look like. It's with Agamotto. They were the Vishanti gods or whatever they were called. They were supposed to maybe look like him. Don't know.
But then that octopus in the beginning was an octopus creature in the beginning of the film was a Doctor Strange villain or monster from the very, very early Strange.
What's his name? I was looking him up.
Yeah, I forget what it's called.
It began with a D. I don't remember. But
that was some really good special effects, by the way. That whole fight in the city. The whole fight in the city was really cool.
Yank the eye out. It's
that was very Sam Raimi too. Very Evil Dead.
Yeah.
I can't think of the monster's name. Cool name.
Yeah,
Trying to find
I
it.
don't remember what it was called, but yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there you have it, everybody. Our breakdown filled with spoilers on Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness. If you haven't seen it, go out and check it out. If you have seen it, let us know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everybody. Visit it for Sea of Tranquility, folks. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. Check us out on Facebook and here on YouTube all together all the damn time. If you're a Comic Book Geezer fan and watching us on Comic Book Geezers, tune in a couple days for another episode. Wild Bill will be back, myself and him showing us some cool comics. And I want to thank Craig Kaminski and Rich Catino today for getting on here and talking about the film. And we'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.